Are we ready to talk about some OP3 strategy?
Absolutely.
All right, let's do it. Let me look at my time here real quick. Okay, we're going a little bit over, but I think we should be fine. Now, I'm going to, of course, be relying on you guys for more of the faction-y, pure standpoint. And I am going to... Oop, I broke it. And I will, of course, be going from the faction unrestricted point. And this is what we're going to be talking about, the biggest thing. So we're not going to go over the whole scenario here. It's available online. Just look up Collective OP in Google and you'll find WizKid's site for it. The general gist, of course, is the two of your two players are in a cooperative competitive event. You can't directly hurt the other guy with damage, but you can, mess with them a little bit if you so desire. You are facing down the cube, kind of like an OP2, but you must destroy it this time. It has 25 hull, gets more defense dice as you deal more damage to it. Once it's destroyed, a sphere comes out. You have to deal 15 damage hit before it escapes off the board, or you both lose. So this is how it works. This is just going to be the objective part from the OP rules. The game ends immediately. 1, when the time limit is reached. 2, when the Borg sphere token is destroyed. Or 3, if any part of the Borg sphere token ends its move outside of the play area when the game ends. The player with the most fleet points, regardless of how the game ends, is going to be the winner. Bonuses. The player who destroys the Borg cube token, or does the final point of damage to it, so kill stealing is available here, gets 40 fleet points. Whoever destroys the Borg sphere token, dealing the last point of damage to it, gains 40 fleet points. If a player destroys sorry, I'm going to skip that one. If a player destroys both the cube and the sphere, they get a battle point as well. So that's 80 fleet points and 1 battle point. If the sphere token is not destroyed within the time limit. So I'm assuming that's even if you didn't get to it by not destroying the cube, both players lose 30 fleet points. The last one that I was coming back to, if a player destroys either the Borg cube or the Borg sphere, that player gets 20 fleet points for each of his ships that were destroyed by the Borg in the battle. So a whole slew of things for the objective in this mission. Tucker, you with us? Nope, he's having connection problems. So David, what are you thinking about so far? What is your perspective on this scoring?
The scoring makes me, having a math degree, happy, because I think it almost takes a math degree to keep all of the numbers straight right now. There's a lot of ways to score points, and you don't necessarily have to be on the board at the end of the game in order to win.
Mm-hmm.
Because you could throw everything you can at the Borg cube, destroy it, and die, and you can win.
And you'll still have a decent amount of fleet points.
Right. And it doesn't matter if your opponent destroys the sphere or not. Now, if they destroy the sphere, then they'll win. But not necessarily. It depends on how many ships they take. Yeah,
it's weird.
It's gamey. It's there's a lot of things you have to account for here.
So
yeah, you have to destroy one or the other.
Right.
You can't let your opponent get both. There's just no way of doing it.
So, okay, I'm going to try to do some quick math here. So let's say you took, well, this is going to be a blind build. So let's say you took 3 ships plus your blind ship into this event. You killed the cube, but all your ships got destroyed. So you're looking at plus 40, plus 80. You're looking at 120 bonus fleet points. Your opponent is also getting 120 fleet points because that was the cost of your build.
Yeah.
So if they get the sphere, they win.
So if they get the sphere without losing anything, if they get the sphere losing less than 40 fleet points, hell? I don't even know, because they're getting 20 fleet points for each of their ships that are destroyed as well.
Right.
No, wait. Hold on a sec. If you blow up the cube, you get 120 fleet points for 4 ships.
Mm-hmm.
But your opponent gets 120 because all your ships are dead. So all they have to do is blow up the sphere in any capacity, and they should still win.
Yes.
It seems like anything short of
you get
them killing the sphere and being killed in return in the exact same instant is going to end in their favor.
Oh, God, this is so stupid.
No, because if they have fewer ships, say they only take 2 ships plus the blind, then they'll only end up with the 40 from the sphere and 60 bonus. So they'll have 220 and you'll have 240.
So,
Oh, yeah, if they lose all their ships. Okay, so blow up the cube. That's the answer.
So why are we doing all this crazy math? Because there is a weird way to game the system by bringing a lot of little point ships and sacrificing them.
Yeah.
If you get the cube.
If you get at least the cube or the sphere, either one. If I throw 5 science vessels into it, which is dumb, but just for example's sake, I give my opponent 60 fleet points. I get 100 fleet points. I make a profit.
Right.
Like, you want to destroy things, but you also want to get your ships destroyed.
This might be a time to pull out blockade.
That could be fun. Blockade, some Martok, some Denatra. But
yeah, you know what? This might be a time for a D7 swarm.
But there is a problem with the swarm, and that is the building defense value of the cube.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
And the sphere. So the cube starts with 0 agility and slowly works its way up to 10 agility at 21 to 24 points of damage.
Not that it can't completely whiff on those rolls, as anybody who's ever played a cloaker knows.
I understand that.
That was my Saturday.
I'm going to let my opponent roll the defense dice for the cube token.
Yeah.
But
or
the sphere itself also starts with 2 and can get up to 8 as well.
Yeah.
Use magnetic guided charges, and it'll roll no defense dice.
Woohoo!
Oh wait, that's a Borg-only weapon.
Good old Borg.
Who could have possibly saw that twist of events?
But yeah, so here's the problem. When you're up to the huge numbers of defense dice, what we normal people found out back in OP1 and 2 is that you want to get around defense dice, you get to lay mines. You cannot lay mines in this event because they may damage your opponent. And that is not one of the upgrades you are allowed to drop on the field.
Yeah.
I suppose... Nope. I was going to say maybe you could use energy web tokens, but no, they made the same ruling on that too.
Yeah.
So you don't have any weapons to work against this except the magnetometric charges that come with the Scout Cube, assuming the Scout Cube is released before your event. Otherwise, it's just pure dice. Throw more attack dice with more quality at it.
Yeah, and you know who that benefits? Klingons and Borg.
I'm going to make a case for the Federation in just a second, but with all of that in mind, what are you guys thinking about for running for this event? And we can start with Tucker, because Tucker knows everything.
False.
Darn it.
Do I really come off as if I know everything? That is unintentional. I apologize. But what testers in my area have been seeing is for faction pure or ship pure or penalty pure, what seems to be doing really well is a Super Voyager. Because if you build it right, with Shelby and Paris and all that stuff, the Borg cube just can't kill it. Now, there are a lot of builds that the Borg cube just can't kill, but the Voyager also has transphasic torpedoes with Scotty quality.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's not unusual for Voyager turn like 1 to be doing like half of the damage to the cube.
But that's not where it helps you. You need to do that kind of damage late.
Yeah, and that's the only downside of the Voyager build, is that the Voyager build, it needs to get the cube, but it doesn't have the best weapons to do so. But what it does have is the best weapons to survive being shot at by, 12 dice with rerolls a turn.
See, I was thinking something similar, but with transphasic torpedoes mostly.
Yeah,
Are you
that's what
counting
we're
that? I was
saying.
having a hard time hearing. But you could potentially go for a really high, just one really great big attack, especially when the Borg cube is starting at its 0 defense dice. I'm pretty sure there's a way you can get those transphasics up to about 15 dice with target locking
Sure
down
there
stations.
is! Tactical stations!
Okay, we're not counting tactical stations because you don't win it until after this event. Okay, we can get our attack up to 300 dice.
Yeah, I know. In all seriousness, yeah, that is sort of the plan, is get your attack dice as high as possible on that first thing where it's not going to be rolling too many defense dice, and see if you can just kill it from there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one of the things to note is that the Borg checks its defense for every attack. So if you shoot and you do 6 damage, now it's rolling 4
4
defense
dice.
on the next attack.
Yep.
You know, I'm thinking about it. This really might be a time to bring back Barrage of Fire.
That could be one. Or else, or our friendly what is it? Species 8472 equivalent.
Oh yeah, the
Energy
focusing
focusing
beam.
ship. Yeah, I hadn't even thought about that.
energy blast.
Mm-hmm. It's like beam focusing ship or something. I don't remember. I think in
Right.
theory
I wonder...
you can fit that along with 3 science vessels and your blind into a build, and that should give you 14 attack dice.
I'd rather just do Voyager with transphasics at that point.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, but it's another option.
Yeah, a bioship with 4 science vessels and energy blast on the bioship is 90 points.
Oh, really? Exactly?
Exactly 90 points.
Well, that's neat.
So
Maybe...
That is one... What is it? That is all 1 skill captains, though, so not going at skill 10 might be a problem.
Might be.
There's a good point, because there's a good chance your opponent will get it to kill some of your... Well, I guess it depends on who has the initiative token first round.
Well, you'll certainly know that because it's what your current standings are.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's going to play a big point in this calculation as well.
Oh, sure, yeah. If you're at the lead of the standings, you're going to have the first thing. You're going to have the first move every single time.
Mm-hmm.
You can build your build around that.
Yep, and you know where the cube is going to go, so you can aim at it. You know what to attack, so even if you have to attack one of your own ships, you can attack the least one important to you.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, you're probably going to be shooting at your opponent.
Mm-hmm.
Or aim it towards your opponent.
You know, I'm doing some math in my head. You could have a Voyager with transphasic torpedoes and barrage of fire, right? And then on another ship, you could have like a battleship or Sung or something with a flagship and Denatra. And then Scotty on the Voyager, maybe, and you could get up to...
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think if you could get enough damage to kill it in one go.
Well, it wouldn't be one go, but it would be 2 shots.
Yeah.
Because you can pretty easily get it up to 14 attack on your first attack, and then another 14 attack from the barrage pretty easily.
Yeah.
But then the question becomes, can you get enough quality with that to make it go through?
Right, because if not, you've just handed your opponent a 23, 24 damage Borg cube, and they just have to get one hit through.
Granted, against 10 attack or 10 defense dice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's, I mean, if you're coming into this loaded for bear to begin with, that's pretty trivial.
Yeah.
You know?
I think you're pretty much if you're going for the two ship combination build, I think the most you're going to be able to get out of first round is probably going to average about 20.
Yeah.
You'll get 14 with the transphases from Voyager, and then after that you'll get 7 from the battleship or whatever you're running.
Yeah.
Against like 6
What-
defense dice.
And which leads to my next thought, which is a cube, which is one of the few ships that can be next to the Borg cube safely, with cutting beam, of all things.
That could be an interesting one. Because that would be another 10 attack dice. And you don't even have to discard it.
Yeah.
I know you guys wouldn't be able to do it, but I could throw away unit barrel on there.
Don't even. I mean, I wouldn't even bother with that.
Every other turn, the opponent gets to choose who it attacks, and if it attacks my cube with, I guess 12 attack dice, it would survive the first attack, at least.
Well, Borg ablative hull armor would do pretty well. Feedback pulse would whack itself in the face, make it easier for you.
Oh, that is gonna be a good one. Feedback pulse that deals damage,
Yeah, because it always re-rolls.
and it does not get defense dice against it.
Yeah. So, in other words, now the thing is, you can't use it to kill the cube, because the cube will. You know what? This is how I would do it. I would do a Voyager with transphasics and feedback pulse, and then I would, if I had the token, I would have the ship attack my own ship.
Mm-hmm.
And then
yeah,
with 12 dice, which it re-rolls because it has to.
Mm-hmm. So you're probably looking at 4 or 5 damage there at least.
4 or 5, nothing. You can, speaking as a Klingon player, you can easily get 12 damage there.
Well, feedback pulse only does half though.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, 4 or 5 damage then. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that's not bad. I mean, really, a big thing in this is going to be getting lots of big attack dice and finding things that get around defense dice. So, Gelnon is probably going to be a thing, possibly.
Gelnon isn't efficient enough.
Yeah, the problem is he's really small. There's the feedback pulse, like we were just talking about. Counterattack die might help you ping here and there.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else that can reflect or deal damage through evade?
3rd of 5. The Borg captain on the Scav cube.
Give me an idea. I'm going to check on something real quick, but remind me again what 3rd of 5 does?
Spend a drone token to counterattack die.
Oh, that's right.
Or maybe no, it's the tactical cube. It's the tactical drone from that pack.
Tactical drone captain. Give me Romulans.
Counterattack.
Yeah.
So there's Muon feedback wave.
Sorry, what did you say?
There's Muon feedback wave. Not terribly efficient because you can only make the cube go like 3, but you could pile a couple of them on there at the same time. And they do stack. I asked this question a long time ago.
Huh.
So if you only need that 3 or 4 damage at the end of round 2 or 3, depending on where you end up in the turn order, be like, okay, the cube now moves 3, takes 2 damage per token on it, no defense. It's a nice way to get that finishing blow on one or the other, especially on the sphere, since the sphere always moves 4.
Yeah.
But the other one I was thinking of was Ultridium explosives. If your ship is not cloaked, disable all of your remaining shields. Target ship at range 1 to 2 that is not cloaked and has no active shields. Cube token. Discard this card in one of your croak base to inflict 1 critical against the ship. That's another way to get a couple extra damage. I was trying to think if there was some way to stack a whole bunch of them at once, because it's not unique, and it's only 2 points. Less than that if you take the Tech Fleet Captain.
Yeah, but it just doesn't. Well,
The issue you have is you have to have crew to discard.
Mm-hmm.
what's the cheapest non-unique?
Follower of Khan.
No, for
so
Romulans.
Oh, for
you can
Romulans?
you can go Param and Bokra. They're
Mhm.
both, I mean, they're unique, but they're each 1 point.
I mean, on a science ship.
I think the closest you'll get is Romulan Pilot, followed by
2
Tactical
points.
Officer.
Yeah.
Here's the problem with a science vessel, though. It only has 1 crew slot
Mm-hmm.
and 1 tac slot.
Yeah.
And the named version, the Apnex, gets your 2nd crew slot, but only 1 tac.
Styles.
Styles.
Or a flagship, but then you're going, how much do you really want to invest?
Well, what is a no, not flagship though. What is the cheapest Romulan ship that has 2 crew?
Oh,
It's the Bird of Prey.
yeah, the Vortivore or the Galgathon. Or not the Vortivore, sorry.
The Galgathon.
It's the generic Galgathon.
Okay, 16 points. Fleet captain. You put your fleet captain tech on that.
It
So
doesn't
that
have
ship-
a tech slot.
Tech slot gives you 2 tech slots.
2 tech slots, 2 crew slots.
That's right.
20 points for 2
Right.
guaranteed damage, though.
Right. Well, right. But then you can start loading up your science ships with 3 points. You can run a science ship for 15 points that'll get you a guaranteed crit or whatever.
Mm-hmm. That could be
And
cool.
each crit does 1 extra damage, right?
I don't know. I don't think it actually made mention of criticals. See if I can find it. But yeah, so all sorts of fun things.
Yeah, it's just not good enough.
It
It's just not good
converts.
enough.
It says you convert all critical hits against the cube to normal hits.
That's
That's
it.
unfortunate.
Not good enough. Not good enough.
Now, if it was double hits, maybe you could pull something, but... So yeah, I mean, there's a couple ways to get... I feel like maybe 1 or 2 of these in a fleet, instead of like focusing on it, would be good to make sure you get that last hit in, because it would happen during the activation phase, and that would be before everyone else attacks.
Yeah, I would do it. I would do it either on a science vessel or a Vortivore if you can afford to spend the fleet captain. Not the Vortivore, the generic Alcathol.
Mm-hmm. And then, I mean, the other half of this event is really manipulating the cube to your advantage when you're in control of it.
Yeah.
So the question is, do you want to move it toward your forces, away from your forces, toward your opponent?
One thing you could do is try to build a projected stasis field fleet and just try to blow up your opponent's ships before they can destroy the cube.
Mm-hmm.
And then hope you can.
Yeah, that is the only minor problem is if you will be low on fleet points if you can't take out both the cube and the sphere because of the sphere's negative impact.
Well, you know what though? If their fleet is gone and yours is alive, you'll win because the sphere's negative impact hits both players.
Oh yeah, you'll win, but your tiebreakers near the end of it won't be nearly as good.
Against other people.
Yeah, I guess,
So-
and you won't get the bonus battle point. I don't know, man. This one's a hard one to crack.
Well, so here's the thing. If you're in a small venue, where you're guaranteed to play. If you keep winning, you play the best people. So it's going to be really hard for someone to sneak up on you. Then you're okay kind of doing that projected stasis field. If you're in a big venue where you've got 10, 15, 20 people, you can't rely on that because your fleet point tiebreakers will make you lose.
Mm-hmm. So, really, the fleets that we're running here are going to have our big effect are going to be, are you going first or second? Or I'm sorry, are you ranked higher? How high are you ranked in your venue? Because you want to start with that token to control the board ship round 1. How many people are in the venue? Because if there are fewer people, every win for you actually helps you in the long run, regardless of how you got it.
Right.
But the larger ones, your wins will not necessarily be reflected in other people's losses that you're going up against. And man, I just really want Wayun and Barrel because if I can do the whole disrupt your opponent's strategy thing, if you have Wayun and Barrel on your last ship left over, I mean, eventually you will kill that cube at maybe the sphere. Probably not the sphere since it's running away. And that's a problem.
Well, here's the thing. Can you make the sphere just hit you every turn?
It does a 4 straight, so it'd be really hard. You'd have to make like a conga line in front of it.
Not if you were a cube.
If you were a cube, you would still need one other ship to bump into you from behind to keep the sphere from moving.
Not to keep it from moving, but to keep it moving much more slowly.
Oh, much more slowly? It would definitely move much more slowly. Because you would do 1 forwards with the cube, and the sphere would just keep running into you. It would be basically getting a 2 forward every turn instead of a 4 forward, though.
Yeah, but I mean that gives you double the time.
Just about. That could be a thing.
So, yeah. So best guess, I suppose, is tactical cube with Wayun and Varel. I'm sure the folks at home are thrilled to hear that.
I know, right? I think that would work well.
Oh boy.
I mean, the question is your big heavy hitter list going to do good here? Your 3 Keldons or your 3 or 4 Klingons with some attack dice bonuses. And those are things that, the faction pure people can run.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure. I just don't think they have enough durability, and I don't think they're going to get through the defense dice effectively enough.
Mm-hmm. I think that 12 dice, those 12 dice attacks with rerolls are going to kill a lot of things.
Here's what I'm kind of thinking. If you can kill the cube near the center of the map, that's your best place, because then the sphere will run away fast. It may be 1 turn, but that might be all the difference.
Well, if you put it to the edge, the sphere takes longer because it has to go to the farthest edge to get away.
Right. Well, and that's why I'm saying if you get it near the center, every edge is roughly equidistant.
So you want it to run. So you're assuming that you're not going to be able to kill it before it runs away.
Well, what I'm saying is, go ahead. If you're the one that kills the cube, it doesn't matter what happens with the sphere because you're denying your opponent the bonus points.
It does, because if you kill both, you get an extra battle point.
True. Well, and that's one where you evaluate what happens to your fleet, because you do have half the control of the cube. So while you may not be able to get it exactly centered, you might be able to get it close if that's going to be advantageous to you. But if your fleet's still mostly intact, then you want to drive it to a corner or at least an edge and get it to a point where you're going to have some time to get that sphere.
I guess, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I got to get back on the road, so I'm gonna have to head out.
Gotcha.
But,
We are running a little bit long. So, you have like 5 more minutes?
Yeah, I got 5 minutes.
All right. So let's see what we can do to wrap this up. OP3, you basically got two choices. You're either just trying to win or you're trying to win with the extra battle point. So, if you're going for the extra battle point, lots of attack dice, Voyager, big transphasic torpedoes, things that give you 10, 11, 12 attack dice. Sound about right?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Hmm. You might be able to get away with a couple of maybe like Keldons with some boosters to get them up to 7 or 8 attack dice, but I wouldn't count on it. Counterattack might be a good option there.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, just trying to make sure you kill the cube. Go for probably go for some of these smaller ones, the Ultradium explosives, Gelnon, the ones that can guarantee you that last shot during the activation phase, that ignores defense dice.
Yeah.
Yeah. For controlling the cube, I would say always go with the 112 die attack against one of your opponents. Would you guys disagree with that?
Absolutely not.
Unless they're running.
I would not disagree.
Yeah, unless they're running a shutdown build, like a Wayun Varel, a super conditional surrender, shroud type build, something like that. Then you might want to split it up, make them disable their
to make
combo.
them spend some of their negations.
Yeah, I'd say I wouldn't use the 3-ship attack very often.
Yeah.
Unless your opponent is running Wayun conditional surrender on one ship and SOPEC Varel on the other.
Yeah. The SOPEC might be out by then.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
The only other thing I could see for the 3 is if your opponent's running like a Science Vessel Swarm, an Interceptor 5 Swarm, something like that, then it might be worth it. But
but generally, 12 dice attack, kill your opponent's ships one at a time.
Yes.
The only other thing you might want to consider is using that 12 dice attack against your own feedback pulse. But be warned that, like OP2, the feedback pulse does not count as damage that you are dealing. So if you kill the cube with it, no one technically killed the cube. Doesn't that seem silly?
And that will happen to somebody, and I'm sure there will be a thread on Board Game Geek about it, and it'll be messy.
Oh, yeah.
I agree with what you're saying, Will. The feedback pulse is not you doing damage.
But yeah, I think that's about all we've got for now. I'll try to run some tests over the week while I'm getting some play in. But for now, I mean, do we have anything else we want to add to that?
No.
Not that I can think of.
All right. Cool. Then I guess we will be closing it out there. Thank you for joining us, Tucker. I know you got to get back out on the road.
Yep. If you don't hear from me next week, I didn't make it to Santa Fe.
That would be tragic.
I'm sure we're sure you could find your way with your Voyager. So cool. All right.
All right. Tucker, drive safely.
Doing my best. Have a good night, folks.
You too.
All right. Have a good night, Tucker. David, any closing words?
Not really. I just finished playing OP2, and Keldon's won the day for somebody else. And
I love my Keldons.
Q was not. I love my Keldons too. And on Friday night, I was talking to a friend, and I'm like, do I go Keldons? Do I go Klingons? And I went Klingons, and I shouldn't. But you know what? I had fun playing, and I got my girlfriend to play, and she actually ended up tied with me, and we had to go down to fleet points, and we had a lot of fun playing.
That's cool.
These cooperative events, I think, are the best introduction to the game we've seen, and that makes for a lot of fun.
I think that is a good point. The cooperative ones, you don't have to fight opponents' boards quite so quickly.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right, guys. I think that's going to be it for all of us here at State of the Federation. Thanks for joining us today. Hopefully we'll have some more good information for you next week. We'll probably be taking a look at the crew resource cards that came along with this OP we didn't get a chance to go over. And if we can get some practice matches in, I'll try to relay, what's been working, what hasn't been working. And until then, I believe it is may Q be generous with your dice. Have a good night, everybody.
Yeah. Night, everybody.